is currently May here in Phoenix, and in a previous video I did a garden walkthrough bloom time walkthrough video, and in that video there were some roses that were blooming, and then there were some that were still getting ready to bloom. So in this video I wanted to show you some of the roses that hadn't bloomed quite yet, and that is most of my vine roses. So in this video I wanted to show you some of the vines that I have in my garden, how they are doing here in Phoenix, how they look, and how they're blooming right now. I do have about 6 rose vines in my backyard, not including the ladybanks, and 3 of those are David Austin roses, and then the other 3 are just kind of like a traditional rose. So I'll go around and just show you how they've been doing in my garden. So over here I've got my Pearly Gates rose vine growing. It's finally kind of put on some blooms. It's a really pretty white rose with like a soft pink center, growing out to kind of just white. Blooms on this one are a pretty good size. And down below the Pearly Gates I have this little footbridge with my flower carpet rose kind of trained up on it. Although this rose, I believe, is supposed to be more like a bush, I think it grows more kind of like a little mini vine, which works out really well because I did get it trained up onto this kind of almost trellis of a bridge. Jacob, Joseph, what is it? Jacob's ladder, Joseph's coat. So this one's Joseph's coat. This one I showed a little bit on my garden walkthrough. This guy's doing fairly decent. Over here, I would say this one took a little bit more time to establish than some of the other roses, but I think it didn't help that this is kind of in a shady corner here in my garden. So once it kind of grew over the top of the fence, it's done a lot better, putting on these really pretty multicolored blooms. And next to Joseph's coat, this one is Juan. This one was blooming earlier and it looked really good in my garden walkthrough video, so this one's not currently blooming. Waiting for its second flush. We'll see how it does there. And over next to it I have my first David Austin vine rose. And down here I've got a little bit more blooms on the wall than I did last time. This one here is Graham Thomas. This one has very fragrant little cupped English looking rose vine. It's kind of similar to Ronald Dahl, but the blooms are larger, and this one is much more fragrant. Now over here I have Bathsheba, and Bathsheba just really likes to grow, which isn't a bad thing. So I kind of try to keep this like chained up onto the wall, but it always ends up really popping off the wall trying to get the sun. This is a north facing wall, so this is always trying to come out and reach the sun, so it's always like getting in the way of the path. And at some point I don't know if give up is the right word, but I just let it grow. And after it's done blooming, I'll try to just trim it up and get it out of the way so you can walk through here again. Here's Bathsheba. It's really pretty, the pattern on this rose. has like a really cool like internal pattern. This is another one. I feel like I should look at the card because I don't think this coloring is what it looks like on the card at all. I think here in Phoenix it really goes light compared to what the card is. I think this is a lot whiter than what it should, in air quotes, be. But it's still a really cool looking rose. This has really good fragrance. And then back here I've got another David Austin vine. This is another one that likes to pop out like away from the trellis to try and get more sunlight, and I let it a little bit, I suppose. This one's a really soft, pretty pink. It has like a gorgeous center. It has it makes like this very interesting pattern in the center of it. It's very like a beautiful shape, very softly colored. I think this is a very elegant rose, and the fragrance on this is really good. Here's an older bud. You can see it's kind of fading to white. And again, I think this one's kind of typical of the David Austins that at least I do have here. It does get pretty affected by the warmer temps. The buds start getting smaller pretty quickly, and the color probably starts to change and lighten up considerably with the warmer temps. But they are such little pretty roses. So that was just a quick little update on how these vines were doing. And if you like this video, please do subscribe. Thank you.